Hey, YouTubers. I don't know. Just getting on here. Uh, hadn't made a video in a couple days. Figured I'd catch up with you guys. So, I was watching a Billy Carson video. I don't know if you, some of you, most of you probably know who Billy Carson is. If you look him up, I actually didn't know who he was. My girlfriend told me about him. Pretty sharp guy. I watched one of his videos and it said a lot of good things, especially about the Bible. Uh, he's somebody that grew up in the church like I did and knows the Bible inside and out. And I agree with his synopsis with what the Bible says 100%. For one thing, when it talks about the word God, usually that's in plural form. Elohim is a plural, sons of God. Obviously, there's one consciousness. So there's monotheistic and there's polytheistic religions, right? So you've got like, the Hinduism is a polytheistic religion, whereas you could argue, some people argue that the Bible is a monotheistic religion, but actually it's a polytheistic religion if you look at it in a certain way. For one thing, there are certain gods like Yahweh who order people to do things that are actually violate spiritual laws. So there's, kind of. It depends which ones you're talking about, and you'd have to be more specific about that. There's very specific verses, the way that they're written, and the way they're translated to kind of indicate where people are attacking people for maybe the wrong reason, or if there ever is a right reason to attack someone else. Because, you're protected spiritually if you're not in any act of attacking of somebody else. Let somebody believe what they want to believe, right? What does cause problems is when we take advantage of people when they're in darkness. And until somebody becomes into a place of enlightenment, then you can take advantage of them for all day long. I'll give you this simple example. A dog, right? A dog will let you lock it up in a cage. It thinks that what you're doing for that dog is the best thing that you could be doing for it. And yet, if the dog never stands up for itself and never tries to bite back, it'll let you lock it in a cage all day long, right? And this goes to the point where Billy Carson talks about, and this is the one thing that I disagreed with in the video that I watched, a fairly recent video, where he says that the Egyptians didn't have slaves. That the people that there's very good written record that the people that built the pyramids were a bunch of people that got paid. They got Medicare costs, right? But if you can control somebody with currency, that's a form of slavery, wouldn't you say? I mean, if you read our own UCC code, your Universal Commercial Code, it refers to everybody that needs that uses is under that law as chattel. In other words, cattle. People that are above the law don't use currency. The currency works through, they just make a phone call and the ones that print the currency, right? If you're the one that controller of a currency, you're not subject to it. You control it. You can print as many dollars. It's a control thing. A lot of people think that people go after money. It has nothing to do with seeking after money. It's about control. And if you can control somebody else's behavior through another mechanism, that in a sense is slavery, right? And if you can talk them in and to make them believe that it's a good idea, it's a very dark form of sorcery or slavery. Which is what we see, right? That's our world. People living in the unconscious state, driving towards something that they don't necessarily absolutely need. And then people say, you'll argue against that. Well, you don't need that. Do you? I just made a video about climbing up a hill and I was given water when I got to the top because I needed water. I didn't have any money. If you give with an open heart, you will be given to with an open heart. Spiritual law, right? The mercy shall obtain mercy. So, I mean, that's kind of a better way to live if you can overcome survival instincts and living in somebody else's world that wants to control your actions through currency. Eventually, people will figure it out that every form, especially in this country, I live in the United States, in this country, every form of debt is a form of debt slavery, because this country hasn't had money in 91 years, right? No, 111 years. No, yeah. Well, yeah, 91 years. 1933, 91. Today's 2024, so 91. Yeah. It's something to think about, right? You guys ever think about this stuff? How to discharge, the only thing that you can do is discharge debt. And then if you intentionally put somebody in debt, that you have to the only way for them to discharge it is by trying to put somebody else in debt. Another thing I was thinking about, demonology. What does a demon do? Something that primarily feeds without giving as much in return, right? You're not giving an equal exchange. So in order for some entity to feed off of you, you have to be in some kind of state of fear, right? Or lack mindset. You have to be upset about something or afraid of something. Our whole society and sales is built upon manipulating emotional states to get people to buy something. It's based on demonology. Our entire society is based on demonology. Manipulating the emotional state of someone to get them to purchase something. Or not necessarily even purchase something, just to spend their energy on it. Because if you can pull somebody's energy into something, even if it's free, eventually you'll get more energy and more currency out of them. The game Fortnite is a perfect example, right? So many kids pulled into that game, and the game's free, but everything inside the game costs money, and Fortnite makes more money than anybody. I think Fortnite is way above that model they created, and it's all about manipulating emotional states. Oh, wow, look at this new flashy thing. This is what I need. This is one thing that's always bothered me about sales, and the reason why I don't have a flashy website. I don't care. I'm here to give, try to provide value. It can be flashy. Most people buy flashy things. Ooh, pretty. It's the pretty thing. Oh, to me that's a dark form of sorcery, where you're actively trying to manipulate somebody's energy for a darker reason. Anyway, just thoughts for the day. I'll let you guys say in the comments what you guys think. For whatever reason, you guys don't comment too much on this, this channel when you guys watch it. I love to hear your comments though, and what you have to say about things, because when you think about it, all of us are the one God expressed in an infinite number of ways, in an infinite number of consciousnesses and levels of unconsciousness, right? Less complex organisms are more of an unconscious state than we are. I'm sure there are much higher level beings that have much higher levels of consciousness who can just pop right in and out of three-dimensional reality as a light body, or just project an image of a consciousness. And there's lots of stories of Stephen Greer, if you guys follow the SETI 5 project that he did for, I don't know if he's still doing it, but they had lots of experiences where they had beings appear next to somebody and heal them. I don't think you're going to see those beings on TV much, or selling products online, right? I mean, why? You've reached a certain level of consciousness. If you can just pop in and out where you need to, and you're not actively feeding off of anything, right? You're just moving in the field as a pure conductor. Then, right? We'll bring this up because this is interesting when you think about this. It's an evolutionary thing that I think we'll eventually go through, which is what I believe higher dimensional beings went through. The way we feed, the way we eat, we ingest our environment through our creative circuit. Right? I'm speaking with my throat chakra. So you're basically flipping the polarity on your creative circuit to ingest, and you're actually naturally ingesting in your abdomen, which is your receptive circuit before you get to your heart chakra. So all the chakras below, your heart chakra are your receptive circuit. That's your feminine circuit, the negative field of your toroidal field. So it's natural for you to process food there, but to start it, it's going in the wrong spot. It'd be different if there was like a portal in the side of your abdomen, right? It all just went in there, but it doesn't. It goes in here. Why do you guys think that is, right? It's interesting when Jesus writes this in the Bible, it's sweet in the mouth is bitter in the belly. But if it's bitter in the mouth, it's sweet in the belly. Kind of a parable basically saying that what tastes good probably isn't good for you, but what if it doesn't taste good, or maybe even fasting, is better for you. Now, you can guys take that or leave it however you want. Let's draw cards, shall we? Why not? Take what resonates. Leave the rest behind. You guys ever regret things? I have regretted things that I've said at times to people, certain things, and it humbles you, to say you're sorry. And you realize that people stop responding to you when you've said certain things. Sometimes it could be for a number of reasons. It could be that they just don't like you, or maybe they feel intimidated, or they just disagree with you, and they know that you would never get along, right? And maybe the way that they believe isn't the way you believe. To me, belief systems are just, that, right? They're just, I believe in the state of reality, and that we are actively, unconsciously controlling all this. And as you raise your level of understanding and your level of awareness, you can say it by raising your frequency. And so you are moving more information by raising your frequency. But just saying raising your frequency a lot of times doesn't really have the right connotation. It's hard to understand it from a higher perspective as far as exactly what you're doing when you're doing that. You're just moving more information in the field, right? Yeah, all these popped out. Wheel of Fortune, taking some time for ourselves. Five of Cups energy. Always seems to be some Five of Cups energy. Knight of Cups. Right, wearing our emotions on our sleeve. We have some fortune coming in, but there's still a little bit this maybe remaining. I would have to say for me, and I'm going to be 100% honest, I always experience this in some way, shape, or form, right? Because it always saddens me that people can't work together as groups in a really healthy way and never see each other as equals. This is something I was talking to as far as value system, and this is actually the other thing I wanted to talk about today, which really deals a lot with emotional intelligence. Because if no matter how much you learn, it doesn't matter how much I learn or how much anybody learns, you have to give equal value to every state of awareness. Because it all has value, right? I mean, a seed doesn't have less value than a tree. The seed of the tree, represents the potential of that tree to become something greater down the line. So it's not like you can invest separately in either. One has its own function. And you can't have one without the other. The healer can't exist without the person to be healed. Each of those people have equal value. And it doesn't matter how much you end up knowing, because there's always going to be an infinite amount of stuff left to find out and know. So it's all very relative, right? And so this unequal value system that this world has created has always created this state in me at some point in time. It's like, until that gets remedied, will it ever get remedied? I don't know. People in lower states of being will always, especially animals, right? I mean, when you look at animals, your dog has a different value system for everybody it interacts with, usually. Has a different value system for the neighbors versus you. It's going to bark at the neighbors where it knows you, it's going to accept you. And you kind of have to set boundaries in your life, because somebody in a very low state of awareness who's actively trying to manipulate your emotional state for their own gain needs to be cut off in order for them to come to a higher state of awareness, right? Well, you're going to run into conflict just with that thing, right? But, I mean, you'll be living in your star, your angelic energy, if you can get out of that state of mind where you're no longer needing anything, right? And all you're doing is just cutting off the things that are trying to feed off of you. And the reality is, we don't really need anything, right? You have everything within you. So. Fruits of the Spirit. This is one of my favorite Fruits of the Spirit cards. You have everything you need within you. Loving feminine energy where you're abundant internally. It's all an internal state. These cards are excellent. The Rider-Waite deck does a really excellent job of showing all of the, you see growth all around the Queen of Pentacles. Same thing with the King of Pentacles. If the King of Pentacles came out, you'd see growth all around him. Let's get one more. Teamwork. Star, emotional intelligence leading to teamwork. And equal value systems, right? Now, even though this person's standing on a bench and they're talking to somebody, if you look at the three circles above them, those are equidistant circles and pentagrams. The pentagrams are kind of show the pentagram is an old symbol that actually, is kind of a symbol of us, right? A 5-pointed star. Yeah. Be still. Be still. And what else do we got? Let go. Be still and let go. Sometimes that can be the hardest thing to do, right? If you feel like you're in survival mode and you're trying to do something and you're afraid of the outcome of something, being still and letting go can be the hardest things to do. But sometimes that's what we need to do to get the right guidance at the right time for the right reason. So, love you guys. Have a beautiful day, and I'll catch you later.